All right, welcome back to the channel. So, Gervonta Tank Davis has his training camp invaded by a potential future opponent, the former WBO 126-pound champion and current 130-pound contender, Shakur Stevenson. Let's talk about that. Oh, and he talks about how he's afraid of not making weight against Leo Santa Cruz and his 12-week camp. Let's talk about those things in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. So, Gervonta Tank Davis is preparing for a fight against Leo Santa Cruz for the 135-pound WBA regular title, the WBA World Super Featherweight title. I think that's how you say it. The WBC Super World Super Featherweight Champion, the 130-pound division. And that belt is currently held by Leo Santa Cruz. Shakur Stevenson is moving from 126 after not having fought Gary Russell Jr. Tisk, shame on all of you. Shame on Josh Warrington. Shame on this Navrati dude who's going to come up there, Navrat dude who's going to come up there and not fight him either. But Shakur Stevenson's now passed up to 130 pounds. So, he is now one of the top 130-pound fighters and would be somebody that should be in line for the for the title that Gervonta Davis and Leo Santa Cruz are fighting for at 130 pounds. Okay, so to have Shakur Stevenson visit the gym during training camp, I thought was really, really interesting. And I noticed a couple things just from the pictures. I didn't see yet any of the footage, although I know I'm going to see the footage. I'll see the footage pretty soon. It looked to me like, just stature-wise, that Shakur Stevenson's bigger than Gervonta Davis. Like, Gervonta Davis is thick, and he's thick and very, very muscular, but he's not the tallest or the longest guy in the world. And Shakur Stevenson standing next to him looked like he was a good bit taller, looked like he was a good bit longer. And actually, maybe because he's not training for a fight and Gervonta Davis is shedding weight for a fight, he looked the same size, if not actually bigger than Gervonta Davis. And so many people ask me about, what do I think about Gervonta Davis versus Devin Haney? What do I think about Gervonta Davis versus Teofimo Lopez? And how would that fight pan out? And my answers are, stays pretty consistent, which is I don't think that Gervonta Davis is ever going to fight Devin Haney or Teofimo Lopez, because I don't think either one of those guys are going to be at that weight class long enough. Matter of fact, like you can see through this fight at 130 that Gervonta Davis is back at 130, right, for this fight. Now, and he very well could stay at 130. I think he could stay at 130. There are people that are doubting his weight. Like, for example, he said it in this in an interview recently, where he was like, I think it was, who did that interview? It was a long one. It might have been it's probably a Brian Custer interview that he said it, but it's all over the place. If you watch this channel and watch my videos, you've already heard it by now. So he says that he had a 12-week training camp for this fight and not his usual 8-week training camp, right? So if you do the math, 12 minus 8 is 4. So that is an entire extra month for him to train, where he was saying before it was not that he was having a hard time making weight. He could get down to the weight. It was just he said for him, it was a timing issue where he would get close to weight, and that last 2 pounds is really difficult, but he was timing the loss of the last 2 pounds, too close to the fight. So he wanted for this fight against Leo Santa Cruz to lengthen his training camp, give himself an extra month to shed weight, to get down close to the weight. and then he could have another 2 months. I'm assuming this is what he's meaning by this. And then the next 2 months that he'll be able to, focus on sparring, first on training, and get it really sharp. And he won't have any issue with the last 2 pounds. He'll get in there, hit the scale, then the fight will be on, and then he'll rehydrate. So I think that even when people are talking about the weight, Gervonta Davis's weight, and the fact that he's at 135 pounds at the same time as Teofimo Lopez, or at the same time as Devin Haney, I don't think that those guys are the same weight class of fighter. I think those are two different size guys, and I do not believe Floyd Mayweather Jr., especially with Gervonta Davis being the cash cow guy, and where he doesn't really have to acquiesce to other people's demands, really, other than like that 130-pound thing that he did with Santa Cruz. But I think that that's a bit of a trick, personally, because Gervonta Davis made 130 pounds the fight before last. People are really hanging on the fact that he had to come back to the scale a second time for 135, but dude, he made 135. And it wasn't, he fought 2 times. I believe Gervonta fought 2 times last year, so he made 130. And actually the fight before the 130, he made 130 and came underneath 130, right? I mean, he actually, after he had lost his belt to, on the scales to, when he fought Fonseca, right? When he was like a full 2 pounds over or something like that. And he lost his WBO belt. At 130, dude, he immediately went back to making weight multiple times. Good. So, I think that there's a bit of an optical illusion going on here with Gervonta Davis in this weight, especially considering his age, because they say he missed 135, right? But that had also happened at 130 where he had missed weight, but then he made weights consecutive times. So I think Gervonta Davis, like Gervonta Davis said, is going to come into that fight around 130, but he's definitely a different weight class than than the rest of those guys. Shakur Stevenson, on the other hand, could wind up being at 130 pounds for a minute. He could wind up being there at a minute before he moves up to 140 pounds. So the Shakur Stevenson fight with Gervonta Davis, I think, is very realistic. Or like those two guys will be at that weight class together. And obviously Shakur Stevenson is going to be the WBO champion. And that should tell you how raggedy these boxing commissions are, when I can already tell you what 95% chance Shakur Stevenson's getting that WBO lightweight belt. That's where he's going to go first. He was a and he's going to get the WBO 130-pound champion. Yeah, he'll get the 130-pound championship at the WBO. And if he gets the 135, you'll have that WBO title, that WBO title as well. And Gervonta Tank Davis, and he will be there at the same time, along with Vasily Lomachenko, who's not going to go above 140 pounds. Who's not going to go up to 140 pounds. And at his age advancing, I'm not sure if he can make 130 pounds. So it looks like the landscape maybe a year out from now, a year and a half from now, is going to be Gervonta Davis at lightweight, Shakur Stevenson at lightweight, Vasily Lomachenko at lightweight, Teofimo Lopez probably already up at 140 or 147. Same thing for Devin Haney. And as far as what that fight, like who would win that fight, that's the fight. That fight I think is classic. Like, I think that is a classic fight, man. Like, that's like almost like an Ali. That's almost like an Ali Frazier type of classic type of fight. Like, I know Shakur Stevenson is not an Ali, right? And Gervonta Davis is not on the level of Joe Frazier. This is not a major heavyweight fight, but it's like two guys that are both very, very highly skilled. One guy is going to be able to outbox really well. The other guy, is a quicker, explosive, explosive fighter. Man, that can absolutely positively be a beautiful fight, man, and a big dollar fight down the road on a pay-per-view for both of those guys at lightweight. The only problem that I would see for those fights is that Bob Arum, and well, actually, I don't need to say that. By the time this fight happens, I don't know if Bob Arum is going to really be a piece of it, because here you're talking about something that could be 2022, and Bob Arum's, he's evil enough. He'll live forever. and I want him to be there. I don't want no bad wishes. So if Bob Arum is still active in the company at the time that fight could take place, I don't think it takes place, because looking at the way he's managing Terrence Crawford, the way that he just does these in-house fights, it just doesn't seem like that's ever really going to be something he's trying to push, unless it's at the tail end of his guy's career and he's already cashed out. It just, I just think that Top Rank is, I won't call him nickel and diming, you know what I mean? But, they're going to take you paying them $10, $10 50 times, right, to get 500 over you paying him, 200 for one. You know what I mean? That's kind of way that they go. They're kind of like the slow and steady wins the race type of guys. But anyway, man, it was interesting seeing the two guys together. I hope that the conversation and as time goes on, that these guys, Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis, get in the ring together. I do not think that this issue with Leo Santa Cruz and the wait for Tank is going to be an issue, just because he's got that whole 12 weeks, to extra month to get rid of the weight, and then more time to train and get sharp. I think he'll be good. And I definitely think he's going to destroy Leo Santa Cruz. Although he does give Leo Santa Cruz a lot of credit, because he's like, look, man, Leo Santa Cruz is a volume puncher. He's going to keep coming at me. So he wanted to make sure that he has all of the stamina necessary so that, he doesn't run out of gas and he can go when Leo Santa Cruz thinks he's going to go. So anyway, looking forward to Leo Santa Cruz, Gervonta Davis fight. Also looking down the road at a Shakur Stevenson, Gervonta Davis fight would be great. And also, when Leo Santa Cruz gets his behind whooped by Gervonta Davis after that, hey, Leo, go back down to 130, fight Shakur Stevenson. That'd be a good fight. Anyway, it is what it is. You let me know what you think in the comments section. Share, like, and subscribe. If you subscribe, hit the bell icon. But make sure when you hit the subscribe with the bell icon that you hit the top selection, which will allow you to get all notifications. And with that, I'm out. Peace.